Astrology Oracle deck today. You guys can see that. I'm also going to be working with the Shaman's Dream Oracle deck because we do have this upcoming approaching sequence of energies that's very potent and very powerful and what's considered good luck, right? Because our planet of love and money, Venus, is going to be right next to the planet of expansion, which is Jupiter. And it's going to be in the sign of Cancer, which is our root system, our family, it's all fourth house matters. It's ruled by the moon. So a lot of astrologers have been talking about this is a quote unquote good luck day. It's probably the luckiest day of the year as we're approaching these energies. And it's going to be on 6/9, which is June 9th, 2026. And even if you look at the glyphs, right, 6 and 9, it's Cancer. So this has to do with going into what I'm sensing is the heart of our galactic and Earth family, not just our own individuated families, but our families around us, right? Our neighbors, our groups, our communities, people around us, that there is an opportunity because Venus wants love and balance and beauty, and Jupiter wants to expand. And before they discovered Neptune, Jupiter was the ruler of Pisces. And we know that Pisces is the sign of oneness, of collective energy, that we are all one. We are this one soul tribe, right? So on this particular, as we're coming up to the sequence of energies, we can be really feeling a shift in our energetics, a call to forgive family members. If you have any dissension going on in any part of your life, whether it's work relationships, family dynamics, especially because it's Cancer, where we learn to be in relationship with the other because we learned it in family, our early education, early root systems, what we observed mom and dad doing is how we took on some of those characteristics or some of those roles, right? So this is what I consider, what I was told in meditation, it's good luck because we have the opportunity to alchemize it and to transform these relationship patterns, right? These family dynamics. A lot of us have a call to heal the world and to heal what's going on outside of us. We see these big things happening and we want to do something, but we feel helpless, right? It's like Cancer. It's like we want to go inward and we have to heal these things within ourselves. And then we project that healing out into the collective. So this is a call to just offer my gifts and services. This is something that I do every day anyway for myself. And because I'm part of this collective community with you guys, I just heard my guide say, you know what, just go and offer. Whoever's meant to receive will receive exactly the message they need to receive, when they need to receive it, how they need to receive it. Don't try to hang on to the perfectionistic thing, which sometimes us as creators, that can be a harbinger for us even creating because we feel like we have to be perfect to do it. And so I would just ask that anybody that's here that would like to receive, if you want to raise your hand, if you want to just say, pull a card for me or pull an energy form, maybe if you want to name your sun and moon sign there, we can do that as well, because I'm also looking at what I was called to do is, the sun right now is transiting through Gemini. And so depending on what your sun sign is, your particular natal sun sign, that's going to be aspecting the sun that's happening right now in the sky. So all of us have these aspects in our chart. So even if you're, say, a Scorpio or a Gemini or a Cancer, right, you still have these other energetics. You have all of the planets, you have all of the signs in your chart. It's just varying degrees. So if you want to receive some guidance, some inspiration on how to utilize this particular current of energy that's again approaching on June 9th, which is going to be exact conjunct in Cancer. It'll just give you some added support on what you need to know during this time to heal, to finally be able to heal the wounds of the family, be able to heal the wounds of the inner child. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen in one day and boom, it's gone, right? Years and years and lifetimes of memories are going to dissolve. But what I am saying is it can be an activation and an alchemical think of like chemistry, right? We can add our chemistry together as a group and a collective and, be able to help one another during this time period and alchemize all this pain and suffering that humanity's been going through. And it's saying here to encourage your viewers to share your live and invite more friends. Okay, so I would encourage you guys to share this live for those that maybe, need this type of support, or want, who follow astrology, who follow metaphysics, because that's what this channel is. It's a metaphysical channel. And are you ready to receive? Are you ready to receive some guidance? So for anybody that's here, I'm just going to go ahead and pull some cards. I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to see, who's here, who's not, who's joined, who's staying. But I'm just going to go ahead and pull cards. Again, these are card pulls from the collective. I'm going to be pulling an astrological herbology deck because, it's one thing to know the energies and to understand what's going on, but it's another thing to embody it and to actually work with the energies in real time in the physical. So I'm not a doctor by any means. I'm not an herbologist, but what I am is somebody who's practicing how to learn how to feel better and to love myself and to grow and to be a better human being. That's my intention, right? Because we've learned a lot of habits and from our families that maybe just no longer serve the human family anymore. And it's not blaming mom and dad. It's not blaming the grandparents because they didn't know. Right? We're coming into a great awakening with humanity that a lot of the systems that have been on this planet have been out of balance, have been commandeered for a specific, say, group consciousness that does not serve all of humanity. And so this is the human need and collective of all of us to heal and to really learn to forgive. And so there might be some herbs, there might be some astrological than your own chart that you want to look at, because it also this is Herbal Astrology Oracle talks also about the planets that are influencing you at this time. So if you're ready to receive, I would just say put your hand on your heart and just open yourself up to allowing the highest and best version of you to come in, to be supported, not just for yourself, but all of humanity, because we all need help and support right now. We all need this divine nurturance, this divine sort of mothering during, especially since Venus is in Cancer right now. And Jupiter's expanding that nurturing. I think of, right, the Ho'oponopono prayer, right? I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me and thank you. And you can even imagine those who have harmed you, or family members or people in your sphere, the other in your relationship, that if they've hurt you or harmed you, you can imagine them saying that to you, right? Even if they don't have to say it in the physical, you can receive that healing by just imagining it, by allowing it, by seeing their highest version self, and then connect to your highest version self, right? And so we're all just deciding to have a better experience of this reality. But you got to do the work. You got to open up your heart and allow yourself to see that we are one. We are one collective field. Think of like the quantum field and Indra's net. We are all part of this reality system, deeply connected in ways that we don't even recognize, that we don't even know yet. So if you're ready to receive whatever guidance you're ready to receive, I'm just going to go ahead and pull some cards. And if somebody wants something in particular, please, I'm inviting you to share what it is you need support with. You might want to, maybe state what it is you're working on, what it is you're moving through. Because again, this Cancer and Venus conjunction coming up on the 9th is really going to add support and just bring so much power and energy to whatever it is you're creating, especially if it's benevolent, and especially if you're creating not just for yourself, but for the other, okay? Because we are all in this collective energy field. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull. My first inclination is to pull from the Herbal Astrology Oracle deck guidebook. And this is by Adriana Elias, A-Y-A-L-E-S. Okay, so you can check her out too. She's incredible with what she's created here, especially if you follow astrology, you follow herbs. We still have Mars in Taurus right now, and Mars likes to take action and wet the body, the earth, using earth tools. So, pardon me, guys, I'm still learning to open up my throat chakra and show up for you guys in this way and myself consistently. So yeah, I would just encourage you to, if you want to receive some guidance and support, this is for anybody here at the collective right now, to receive what is it that we need to know as a collective family, as a soul tribe, as a human family, especially during this time when Jupiter is going to be conjunct Venus. What can we learn? What energy field can we tap into for our highest expression, for our most harmonious, balanced, whole expression of self? We're not fractaling ourselves out anymore. We're not leaving our bodies because we don't feel safe. What we're doing is we're learning to be more embodied with the energies. This is still Mars and Taurus. Okay, so what came through is Skullcap. And that just kind of popped right out as I was talking about embodying the energy. And it's number 47, and it says stillness. So the planets that are ruling this particular herb is Pluto and Saturn. So we know that Pluto right now, you can see the scorpion. So we're transforming. You can see here too, this is like Gemini, two minds. So we're reconciling the division. We're reconciling, because Gemini is about polarity. It's about the two. It's about this or that versus this, right? The two hemispheres of the brain. But what Scorpio is saying is that you're all of it. And if you can transform your mind, the broken fractal parts of you, you can see here too, it's like a fractaled out. And Skullcap might be the herb to support you at this time. We also look at the numerology. So 4 and 7, I believe it's 11, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so that's a master number. And so there's mastery when you can be still. And you might want to look to see where, because these are where the planets are too, Pluto and Saturn. So you might want to look to see where Pluto and Saturn is in your own individuated chart. But right now that we know that Pluto is in Aquarius and Saturn is in Aries. And so that's actually a harmonious, that's what's called a sextile right now. So they're actually talking really nice to each other. It's creating a harmonious friction. Think of the word sextile, right? What's the base of that word? So that's called harmonious friction in astrology. So we could really learn to be settling the mind, especially with Mars and Taurus, slowing down because there's transformation happening. The Scorpio is helping you transform what? Old beliefs, old perceptions, ways we fractaled out, right? That we didn't feel safe in our bodies. So sometimes, especially if you have wounds of the child, or you're going even through traumatic events. A lot of people talk about soul fractures, that part of yourself leaves your body because you didn't feel safe in your body. So this is reclaiming all parts of yourself, right? From childhood, from every timeline, from every space, from every dimension. You can call that in now, right? I call back all parts of myself from every timeline, all space, all time, every dimension. I call it back into me now, now, now. Right? We don't need to wait to do anything. We can just call it in. We can command it in, because Saturn is in Aries. So Aries is about the warrior. It's about learning to control and command your reality, because you do have the power, because Pluto's power. And Skullcap, I think of like, our crown, right? Skullcap, right? Where we've been capped to believe only certain things, and that would have disempowered us, which have fractaled us out, which have made us so polarized in our understanding of who we are and what our energy field really is about. So this is a reclamation energy, because Pluto is bringing power to that, right? So perhaps, and again, I'm not an herbologist, I'm not a doctor, but the metaphysical guidance right now from my guides, your guides, our collective guides, the guides who are helping humanity be the highest, best version of ourselves, you might want to be utilizing Skullcap as an herb to support you during this time, as you're learning to heal and to reclaim these parts of yourselves, right? And again, you can just command it in right now. You don't have to wait. There's no more waiting for any of this anymore. I command in all fractured parts of myself to return to me from all time, all space, every dimension, and every timeline that I've been fractured out. I call myself back into this now moment, right now, right now, right now. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is. And so again, we're in Gemini season, using the language to command in your reality, right? So Skullcap may help you put you in these states. And again, utilizing, you might want to look to see where Pluto is in your chart and where Saturn is in your chart for just an added nuance. And of course, I'd love to support you in that. That's what I do. That's my passion. I love astrology. Astrology has helped me so profoundly, helped heal my life when I was going through a deep, dark night of the soul. When I gave birth to my son, I went through postpartum depression, and I just wanted to leave this earth, honestly. But I didn't want to leave that legacy with my son. And so I knew I needed to do something to support myself. So that's when I was introduced to astrology back in 2002. And I took my first astrology class back in 2005. And it's been helping me ever since. So I'm so grateful for this medicine of astrology and the program and the system because it really helps you get back into yourself, into your gnosis of who you are, and perhaps your soul path, why you're here. Why did you come here on this planet? Why have you decided to incarnate at this time? Right? Because we have free will. We are powerful soul beings. We weren't taught that. Gemini, right? Early education, we were taught we need to look for power structures outside of ourselves, right? Pray to some certain deity, call in something outside of you, when really the power, it's all within. It's all within you. And until you really get into those spaces, whether it's through plant medicine, whether it's through deep meditation practices, which I've done both, and I've been on this journey, for almost 30 years, because I did have a child and I was committed to having my son. I knew I didn't want to leave the legacy. If I was so depressed that I wanted to leave this planet, I wasn't going to do that. So I made the agreement. I had to make the soul agreement. If I'm going to be here, gosh darn it, I'm going to be happy, or I'm going to at least find balance and wholeness in my life. Now, for me personally, I no longer call in peace because I've fractaled myself out so many lifetimes. I know that I'm an old soul. And so I'm not calling in pieces, because that's also, think of like a piece of a puzzle or a piece of something. Again, you got to watch the language with spellcasting. I'm calling in wholeness, right? Whole parts of myself to come back, to remember I am a whole being. There's nothing that's pieced out anymore, right? And so this is just my own gnosis with how I use the language. Again, people call in peace, and that's wonderful. We think of the idea of peace and harmony, right? But I'm being very precise with my language, because I understand we spellcast all the time. And we might be inadvertently spellcasting, fractaling out more and more and more. We're already fractals of the one. We don't have to fractal ourselves out more. It's like the drop of the ocean, and in the water of the ocean, still the ocean, right? So it's depending on how you're looking at it, right? I'm just, again, being more mindful with the language during Gemini season, especially because we're always spell casting. I don't even say good morning anymore. I'm not morning, I say grand rising, I just, again, modification of the language. So, okay, so I'm going to pull a card again for the collective. This is specifically how we can be supported during this upcoming spiral of energy for 6-9. Again, it looks like Cancer. It's a good luck time for us to really heal the wounds of the family, heal the wounds from childhood, from our inner safety structure, because Cancer wants safety and structure and protection, and to feel that nurturance. So what do we, this card popped out. Oh, there's 2 cards that popped out. Okay, the first one is Poppy, which is dream. This involves Neptune and Saturn, so Saturn's coming in again. Saturn is a big hitter. This is inviting in a new form of structure. So structuring the mind, structuring the dreams. Poppy is 41, 4 and the 1. If you add that together, that's a 5. That's change. 5 is ruled by Mercury, right? So changing our dreams, changing our thoughts. I'll show you the card. It's dreaming a new dream, envisioning a new vision of yourself. A lot of the times, because if we follow, you guys can see this. Here we go. I'm trying to put it right in front of my face. If you're following the collective energies, sometimes people are putting out their opinions, they're putting out their data points, they're putting out what they believe to be true, which in a way is, again, is spellcasting, and it's creating a vision for humanity. But with this card, Poppy helps you get into your dream states. And we know that some people say that the dreams on the other side are actually more real than what's going on in this reality. So you can see too, this is a face here looking down. And this is like imagining, again, using this plant medicine, poppy, poppy seeds. I think of like, you can go out to the store and get poppy seeds, put them in your drinks, put them in your food, especially right before dream state, and then set the attention, because Saturn wants structure. Saturn is saying structure your time, make sure your bed is like, I think of astral hygiene, right? Make sure that your feet are clean before you go to bed. I know this sounds weird, but feet is ruled by Pisces, and Pisces rules the dream state. So, make sure your area is clear and clean. Make sure that you feel safe in your bed at night, and then start maybe writing down and start envisioning what kind of dream do you want, not just for yourself, but all of humanity. Dream and you dream of the future. And so again, I'm not a neurologist, I'm not a doctor, but I'm just pulling, this is a metaphysical perspective on maybe what you can be utilizing to help you dream a new vision, have a new vision for yourself, because Neptune is also in Aries, right? So Aries wants something new. It's a cardinal sign. It's starting a new cycle. And we're getting ready to approach Cancer season on the solstice, which is June 20th or 21st, depending on where you are in the world. And so cardinal Cancer is also another cardinal point. And astrologically, cardinal means beginning, starting something. So starting a new vision quest, starting a new dream sequence, maybe beginning a dream journal, right? Because we're giving a lot of information and being fed a lot of data through our dreams right now. So maybe set the intention before you go to bed tonight. I'm going to remember my dreams. Have a journal right there next to your bed, and then write down just a few words of what you remember, because my dream state has been prolific. And honestly, I need to start this dream journal for myself, because it's been for years I had insomnia, and I could never really get fully into the dream state because of my nervous system. I was shot. I was really working on my nervous system health. So I got some grounding sheets recently. I'm actually stepping on a grounding mat right now. I've been grounding as much as I possibly can to help stabilize my own nervous system so I can feel safe to even get into the dream state, to get into REM. And I also think of like the RAS, the reticular activating system, which you put your focus on, you're going to see more of. So this is intentional dreaming, right? Making sure that, like, I have a meditation channel that I do as well called Alchemy, the Mind Meditations. And I've been working on having out-of-body experiences. So that's my focus. It's like, okay, so I'm going to create a meditation for myself so I can start traveling out of body, so I can start having a different experience and start tuning into different reality timelines, because I know that this isn't it. I've had plant medicine journeys, and I've had meditations where I've been able to go in the mind and see, oh man, this is not the only reality there is. There's many realities that we can be tuning into. I'm done with this gloom and doom reality of suffering and poverty and disease and all this crap. I'm done. Like, no, that's not all there is, right? That's what we've been focused on to create, because that's the egregor that's been calling out all that energy, right? And our focus has been on all that. But we're such powerful creators, we can create any reality we want. So again, it's really harnessing your attention, your focus. Again, Neptune and Saturn are in Aries right now, so it's learning to be that spiritual warrior, right? To only say, no, I see what's going on in the collective, but I'm only going to focus on what I want. I'm going to focus on the reality that I'm bringing in. It's not bypassing. We're not doing that. We're acknowledging that we've allowed ourselves to create this reality because we just didn't know how powerful we were. And we kept outsourcing our power to other institutions, and I would say religious institutions, government institutions, to take care of us, when really we've had the power the whole time. So this is remembering that, okay? And the other card that came through when I was asking for who needs to receive this medicine, this transmission, again, for your highest and best timeline experience, for all of humanity to have their highest and best timeline experience, is Ginseng. So we know Ginseng is an activator. It gives you energy, gives you power. I think of Aries, right? To remember to harness your power. This is why I've been working with this graphic, to remind myself, right, that the balance, there's a harmonic field. To me, this is like a Taurus field. I think of the sign Taurus, which we still have Mars in Taurus, and there's a toric field. That's how our body emulates. If you could just see energy, that we're constantly, moving through this toroidal field at all times. And so the card here is 40 Magician, and it's ruled by Jupiter and Uranus. So we know that Uranus right now, excuse me, just ingressed into Gemini, which is the mind, and it's going to be there for the next 7 years. It had been in Taurus for the previous 7 years, and now it's ingressed fully into Gemini. So the mind at this time matters. What you think about, what you're focused on, how you're processing data information, because Mercury is how we think, and thoughts become things become values become action, and then eventually becomes your destiny, right? So it all begins with the thought. And so Uranus is coming in and saying, look, I'm giving you support, because it's also right next to Jupiter. And during this transition period right now, Jupiter's going to be right next to Venus. So Jupiter wants to expand your love, your ability to love, your ability to feel love, to feel supported, to feel nurtured, because it's in Cancer. And Uranus wants you to change your thoughts to be able to help you visualize this, because this is also a wheel. I think of like the Wheel of Fortune. And Ginseng, again, I'm not an herbologist, I'm not a doctor, but these metaphysical card pulls are saying Ginseng might help you have the courage and the energy, like the magician, to take these different elementals, right? Turning lead into gold. But you got to start with the mind. So learning to change your mindset, learning to change what you're focused on, learning to feel that nurturance and support. And even if you've never felt it, if you were disconnected to your family, if you didn't know how to be loved or how to love completely, because again, I feel like that's, we are true ourselves. Who we are is love. And it's just reminding us that you look, the love is what's going to transform everything. And I've been following Darius J. Wright, who again has been doing out-of-body experiences, and he's been really bringing in the teachings that, and one of the mantras, because again, mantra has to do with language, which is Gemini, which is Uranus. Uranus is in Gemini right now. Is the mantra I've been working with is love is not fear. So anytime I find myself going down a rabbit hole of fear of like, how am I going to pay this bill, or how am I going to, where am I going to live, and how am I going to take care of myself, and all these questions, all these fear-based things that, again, if you just go out in nature, you realize everything's there, abundance is all around you, right? It's just, again, your perception. It's how you're thinking about things. So this mantra has really been working for me, because every time I feel myself getting into that fear state, I just say, no, love is not fear. And if I'm in fear, that means I'm out of love. I'm not embodying the true love state that I know that I am, that I be. And so it's just, again, I'm having to reprogram myself. It's almost like a form of self-hypnosis. And maybe that's what this is. Maybe you learn how to hypnotize yourself. You learn how, because I think of the wheels of, sometimes we spiral and just keep thinking the same thoughts over and over and over and over and over again. Well, Uranus is saying you got to change your thoughts. Are your thoughts serving you? Are your thoughts supporting you? Are you having the best, most harmonious timeline experience in this reality? Or are you thoughts keeping you in bondage, keeping you in a loop, keeping you in a cycle that you don't want to be in? So perhaps utilizing ginseng might give you the power to kind of, I think of like the number 9, right? It's so the 9's got the spiral and then it loops out of it. That's why it's completion, right? I look at numerology. When I look at numerology, I don't just look at the meaning of the numbers. I actually look at the symbols themselves and what the numbers signify. I do my own deep dives. I don't mind listening to other way showers, but really if I know the truth is inside of me, then it's just learning to settle the mind and getting to a space of heart, mind coherence, right? I call it the triangulation technology, right? I take what's going on in my mind, I drop it into my heart. I feel the truth of it. If it feels true, then it feels good in my heart. If it's not truth, it doesn't feel good in my heart. It's like the heart of the child. It's how I just I keep it simple, right? Because there's so much information and data. We've been inundated, and it's like the great flood, right? We've had another great flood. Think of Noah's Ark. We've had another great flood, but this time it's data, it's information. Right? They're releasing all these files, they're releasing all these reports, these disclosures, and it's up to us to go, well, what is real? What is true? What's fake? Where's our focus being drawn to and driven towards? Because they know, the powers that be, that we help co-create this reality through our intention and our focus. So and my guides call it focus pocus, right? The magician. Where did I put that card? Oh yeah, I put it back here. The magic is in your focus. So what are you focused on? These are just questions to ask yourself. And again, no blame, no shame, because a lot of us, our energy's been commandeered to create somebody else's reality and somebody else to put other people in power. Again, outsourcing our power when really we've had the power the whole time. We just didn't know it. So Gemini season, we're remembering, relearning, reevaluating. It's almost like we have to drop everything we thought we knew. And I'm even doing this too with astrology. And I've been studying astrology for almost 30 years. I'm even willing to say, wait a minute, do we really have a solar system? Or is this, what is this? Is it a terrarium? Are the stars something else? Are the planets the way we've been told the planets are so many millions of miles away? Is that even true? So that's why I'm kind of bypassing the science of it all. And I'm just going into the metaphysics. And I'm just tuning into the energies of these systems that I can see, right? The stars, the fixed stars, the planets. And I just talk to them myself. I try not to look to other people's opinions because they don't know. none of us really know. And we're coming into a time with Uranus and Gemini for the next 7 years. We're going to learn things that none of us ever knew. And it's going to blow literally our mind caps, our skull caps open to be able to see another periphery. But it's time for that. It's time for us. This is expansion time. This is evolution time. This is what happens during these planetary evolutionary cycles. We have to be blown open and be able to dissolve everything we think we know. So anything that you're holding on to, that the ego needs to hold on to feel safe, is like, this is what I've known the whole time, right? This is, I think of like religion, but I believed in this the whole time. And I believed in this entity, or even in science, right? I believed that if I did this for my body, that would help me. And now we're realizing, I think of like cholesterol medicine, people would put on stuff with cholesterol, and now we realize the brain is made of 100% cholesterol, right? So again, we're having to unlearn, to relearn. And I would say the learning process it's an inside out job. You know what the truth is. It feels good in the body when you feel truth. It's like hearing a song that makes you feel good, or a harmony or a symphony, or, music that you really like. You're like, yeah, I can dig on this. That's truth to you, right? So don't pay attention so much to the drama, because Gemini season, I would say the disagreeable aspect of Gemini could be a lot of gossip energy, and just talking. But then where's the wisdom? Who's embodied with it? And you'll be able to feel people that have been embodied with the knowledge they've been able to process within themselves, because you can see it on them. You can see the aura. You can feel it coming from their words. And so that's who I'm being drawn to look at. And again, I'm just offering whatever piece of knowledge and wisdom that I have learned to embody. I'm just sharing it with you. And I please ask anybody that moving forward, whatever you watch moving forward, use a filtration system. I think of like a Berkey filter or a charcoal filter, right? Filter out what feels good, because all truth in things that I may transmit may not always feel good, may not be true to you, right? But there might be some pieces that, well, I can resonate with that, but I don't resonate with that. It's up to you to use your discernment, what feels good, and then discard the rest. Like kind of like you're sifting. Like if you've ever gone hunting for crystals, right? You just kind of have to use a sift, and you get the jewels that you can take with you that are valuable to you, right? And so I would just invite that moving forward with any content creator, anybody that's transmitting anything, to use your filtration system, to really use your discernment, because there is golden nuggets of truth within everything, within every scripture, within every text. Not all of it's true, but there are some good nuggets in there. So it's up to you to discern what that looks like and feels like. And okay, there's another card that wants to be pulled. And again, thank you for being here. Anybody that's here, I would invite you to share this. That if anybody that likes sort of a metaphysical perspective, what's going on energetically, I'm using some card decks. This one I'm going to use from the Shaman's Dream Oracle deck, because we're here to dream a new dream. We're here to envision a new reality for humanity, a new timeline experience, a new periphery on what it is that we can co-create with source, with divine intelligence, with God, whatever you call your higher power, the power that lies within you. That's not really higher, it's more internal, your inner power, I should say. I'm going to reframe that, because again, we're not looking outside of ourselves anymore. It all lives within you. We're just learning to tap into it and to harmonize with it, and to listen, right? To settle the mind enough to listen. Because again, we've been inundated with so much data and so much information. How do you know it's true? Well, the truth resides within you. And these are just tools to help you tap into your own truth. That's all it is a tool, right? So I'm just asking, as we're using these tools for the collective, what humanity needs to know right now. What do you need to know right now? For your highest and best timeline experience, that for yourself and all of humanity, all of our families. We need healing during this time. Okay, so this is coming up twice. This card, we got it before, excuse me, with the Skullcap. Excuse me, guys. Drop card. So the Skullcap, we got stillness, right, for the herbology, which help you get into stillness. Now this one is Deep Quiet 11, which is meditation and stillness. So this is learning to develop your meditation practices. This is learning to harmonize your mind, And it's actually even the same number, right? 4 and 7, which was Skullcap, which is 11, and this is the number 11. So 11 in astrology's mastery, I think of like a doorway, right? They look at behind me, the graphic. It's like 2, and we're in Gemini season, which also, if you look at the glyph for Gemini, it's 2. So Gemini is the mind. And so we're learning to quiet the mind. We're learning to master our thoughts. We're learning to master what comes into our field, because we are co-creating our reality by what we focus on. So it's learning to focus on love, on wholeness, on balance, on harmony, especially with this upcoming conjunction, June 9th, with the luckiest day of the year, right? This is Venus right next to Jupiter. So your love is expanding, your ability to co-create with source without any judgment, right? Just really tapping into that love state, because it's like Jupiter's expansion and Venus is the heart. It's how we love, and Cancer is our family. So it's not just our individuated families that we're learning to really love and accept unconditionally, but it's our human family, right? We're a human tribe now. There is no differentiation between color or race. That's just been a way to keep us in division, right? I think of like, if you're still following sports and sports teams, right? Or politics, it's just division. It's a division program to keep you in this or that, us or them, some form of separation, when really, when you get into the Neptunian states and these states of consciousness, once you get into these deep meditations, you realize there is no separation. If that's been the illusion. That's been the great deception, if you will. So focusing in on the mind, learning to quiet the mind. And again, I invite you in to follow my sister channel, which is called Alchemy of the Mind Meditations. It's on the YTube. And it was created just for that reason, because we can sit here and talk about the aspects and talk about energy. Again, Gemini season likes to talk. But then how do we learn to really embody the energy? How do we learn to get in and quiet what we think we know, because we don't know? What you thought you knew, you don't. Same thing with me. Just what I thought I knew, I don't. So I'm humble enough now to realize, man, I got to relearn this, and I'm 52 years old, and I'm back at, I feel like in a lot of ways, square one. But in a lot of ways too, I feel like I've also acquired a certain level of wisdom through my many, many lifetimes that I can have access and tap into now. And this is why I'm moving towards the out-of-body experiences, because I know there's other states, there's other levels, there's other dimensions that I can remember, like, oh yeah, I've already done that. I've mastered that. I forgot, we get so down in this dense reality that we forget that we do know how to do these things. So it's, again, unlearning to relearn and remember, really. And this card was popping out. Excuse me, guys. So this one that came out, this is the crow. So anybody who's been seeing crow medicine, crows are messengers. I've been seeing crows dancing around outside, and they're cawking. And actually, if you get a crow and a baby when they're really young, you can actually teach them to speak. So per Native American and shamanic wisdom keepers always say that crow medicine are the messengers, right? And so this card that came out said the perfect storm, the courage to step into life, is number 44, which again, we're looking at another double number, which is mastery. So this, again, you can see that there's this storm in the heart of the crow, right? So there's new ways of perceiving reality. There's new messages coming through, probably in the dream state, which is why the poppy card came out. So really, again, getting that dream journal and being able to ask before you go to sleep, what messages do I need to receive right now from my guides, from my ancestors, from the benevolent beings of light who love me unconditionally? Because I'm here to tell you, not all your ancestors are for you. I just learned that from myself. Not all my ancestors were benevolent and loving. Some of them were not. So when, again, being very precise with the spell casting and what I'm calling in the benevolent beings of light who love me unconditionally and who love humanity unconditionally to come in and to give me the messages I need in this now moment, because the now is all we have. The future hasn't happened yet. The past is gone. So our point of power, and this is also too the perfect storm, is everything is happening in the now. This is why I'm even transcending, my past self or my future self. No, actually, I'm bringing all the fractured and fractal pieces out that I'm living in the future or I'm living in the past, and I bring them all into the now. And so this has been a deep work for me because, again, I had a lot of childhood trauma where I fractaled myself out of my body because I didn't feel safe in my body. And now I'm calling all those pieces back into myself. And it's been a journey. It's been quite a long journey, but we're here now. I mean, this is why I incarnated. And probably if you're here too, this is why you incarnated, to be here in this now time moment. So the now is the point of power. So enjoy the now, and being out in nature, just maybe putting your hand on your heart and breathing, just taking a breath and just calling in now time presence. I'm in the now. I'm here right now. You can command this energy. You do have the power. We're way more powerful than we've ever been taught or told. And so we're remembering, and it's a responsibility too. This is Saturn, because Saturn came up a couple times. It's like, I need to be responsible for the energy I bring into every situation, including when I come into these lives, because you guys can feel it, right? It's like we are responsible for our own power, and then it's up to us to share our personal power and do it unapologetically, do it authentically, share your gifts, share your tools, right? I've got a selenite on at all times around me, right? Because I'm so empathic and so sensitive that I can feel even everybody that's on here, right? So I've got to keep my selenite wand on me at all times. Like, shh, I got to ground. Like I said, I've got the grounding mat on me with me. I've got crystals all around me. This is just part of my personal practice. So it's time to share that and to show up and to just be yourself. Be yourself. Don't worry about, there's always going to be something that's going to judge you, and that's okay, because they're still judging themselves. So, and judgment is not love. Again, these mantras coming in during Gemini season are really empowering. Fear is not love, or love is not fear. Love is not judgment. Love is not separation. Love includes all of it, even the parts that we don't like about ourselves. Can you love that part? This is the shadow work a lot of people talk about. Can you love the parts of yourself you don't like? When you're being jealous or petty or gossipy or you're negative and you're like, man, I don't even like to be in my own company. But can you still in that moment love yourself, give yourself a hug? Again, we've got Venus in Cancer and it's coming up to conjunct Jupiter. So it's expanding that self-love for all of it, for the soul family, for your own individual families, for our human families. And this is going to be the medicine. And that's what's going to bring you good luck. Because when you start emulating and putting out that frequency, then you see life's always happening for you, but you get to see it. You get to be more in the synchronicity of life. You get to be more in feeling in the flow, right? So all of a sudden resources just come out of the blue and you're like, whoa, where did that come from? I didn't even know I needed that, but and it's not always money. Sometimes it's gifts. Sometimes it's time. You're given more of your time back, right? So if you train your mind to look to see that everything is happening for you and that everything does come from love, we originate from love. And that love is not fear. So if you're in that state of fear, you're not in love. That means you're in separation. So bring yourself back and just put your hand on your heart and just say, I am love. Keep it very simple. You don't have to be so dramatic with it. Go out in nature, bare feet on the ground. I am love. Listen to the birds chirping and watch a butterfly go by. And you're like, oh yeah, that's who I am, right? It's almost simple, but it's not easy. But it's the practice, because we still have South Node in Virgo right now. So we're practicing these things. And this is why we're showing up and sharing one another our gifts, because this is part of the practice, right? So anyway, family, I just want to say thank you for anybody that's here, that's willing to receive the medicine, which is just love and perception. And hopefully this helps you to have a new perception of your reality, a more empowered, loving perception of your reality, because we are all the one. There is no separation. And we're just remembering how powerful of a creator we really are. And as we co-create with source and co-create from the foundation of love, again, that triangulation, right? The heart, mind, and you pull it out you triangulate it into whatever you're focused on. That's the focus, pocus. That's what you're going to create. So just be mindful of what you're focused on. And stay in your heart, guys. We've got this. And just, again, if you want to be more into this transmissions, these lives, I'm going to be committing to do more and more of these, because I'm stepping out of my shyness my own lack of self-worth and all the stories I was telling myself about unworthiness. That's because we're getting ready to have Chiron ingress into Taurus. And so it is going to be about feeling worthy to be seen, to be heard, to share your voice. And when you come from love, well, that's the worth. That's what Source wants. That's what the divine creator wants us to do. And so it's honoring the creation by honoring ourselves. And so, yeah, it's the practice. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you spending your most valuable resource, which is your time, to be here. And that's another thing. You'll never get your time back. You'll get things back. You'll get money back. But once your time is spent, it's gone forever. And so we're infinite beings in this finite reality. So, be mindful how you spend your time. Where are you spending your time? Because that's your valuable current. That's your true resource. That your love. So spend your time on doing the things you love, and just watch how your life just skyrockets and transforms. So yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you on the next transmission. All right. So much love. Thank you, everybody.